Welcome to the Free Game Don D podcast, life, family, and business. yeah. Listen, man. Today I have a special guest, a returning special guest, Miss Jamilah Dukes, and it's funny because me and Jamilah were having a conversation maybe a week or so ago, talking about some issues that she was having with her mom. Um, and I said, hey, look, I think we should just chop it up on like overcoming toxic parents, and specifically mothers, because when she was kind of talking about what she was going through, I could relate to some of it. And it's funny because I don't think enough people talk about overcoming toxic parents when their toxic parent is the mother. We're talking about emotionally. Now, some of the stuff could be physical stuff too, but like emotionally overcoming parents that probably are not emotionally available, probably not aware even of the things they're doing, and it's the mother, you know what I'm saying, the person that's supposed to be in charge of caring for you physically, emotionally, mentally, just in every facet of life. And she's the person that triggers you because of her behavior, right? And so we're just gonna kind of chop it up. So Jamila, let's get into it, man.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
So kind of share some of your kind of what you're dealing with and how you're trying to overcome it and things of this nature.
Okay, first and foremost, I am my mama's mom. That's how kind of how I got here. But I've been in therapy for probably the last 18 months consistently. I was calling my therapist having little crash out moments, and she said, if you don't get back into session, I'm not gonna answer the phone for you. So yeah, back in therapy for 18 months now. But one of the things that I have really been working on is healing the relationship with my mother, and seeing her from a different perspective. And the therapy has been mind boggling. And I've learned a lot about myself, about my family, about my mother, about a whole bunch of stuff. Um, to give a little background on me and my mother's relationship, I am the oldest. My mom had a drug addiction since I was probably 7 years old, right? And sometimes she still battles with it to this day. And most people probably have no clue that I deal with that on a day to day basis, but she still does. And it has been tough because as a kid growing up, I always felt like it was, why she doing this to me? Like, why is she doing this to me? I mean, and as I've grown over the years, I realized that she wasn't doing it to me, she was doing it to herself. And so then that came with different levels of forgiveness, but I still wasn't aware of why she was doing it. So through my sessions, I have figured out why my mother does the things that she does. And it was just eye opening because a lot of us, our parents don't really talk to us, or
Mm,
you don't really get to know like how they grew up. Like how was life when you were 7 years old? Or how
mm,
was life when you were 10 or 15? Or when did you have your first boyfriend? Or how did your mother treat you when you grew up? They don't have those conversations with us. And so having those conversations with her gave me a different perspective about her. And it's really been healing my relationship, and I'm super grateful. And shout out to my therapist, Rokama Golston. She is in Israel. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. Rokama, you have changed my life. I'm so very grateful for you in so many different ways. If you need a therapist that is going to be real with you and ask you some real questions and back you up in the corner on the ropes, get in contact with me so I could connect you to Wakama Ghosted. Now, remember, she's in Israel. So, you know what I'm saying? We do this on video, but it be real. Okay. So, Wakama told me in one of my sessions that we were getting into about my mom that I was motherless.
mm.
Donald, she told me I was motherless in the middle of a conversation with my mother, probably in the next room. And that shit felt like she had hit me like she was Mike Tyson or something. Like, you know how Mike used to come out with his socks up?
Right.
You know he was about to knock somebody out?
Right.
Yeah, that's how she hit me. And when she hit me though, it when she hit me with the Jay, you've been motherless. When I really felt like a hit, and she hit me and it was like a whole bunch just released off me because I've been feeling that way forever, but I didn't have words, and I
Mm.
couldn't say that I was motherless with my mother living.
Come on now.
So I wasn't I couldn't connect the 2. So when she said that, it, like, opened up Pandora's box for me to dig into it. And that's how I kinda got here. Rukama Ghostin, she got bars and she, hit me with the "you motherless" bar. And it
Look,
and it opened up to me to do the work.
let me say something here, man, because you said a lot in these couple of minutes here. But the first thing you said that really kind of caught my attention is I am my mother's mom. And I think that there's a lot of people out here, especially, women. I think my daughter has experienced that. I'm gonna say I think I know she has. Um, being her mother's mom. And unpack that. Like, what does that look like? Because I'm sure you're not the only one dealing with that, where you're having to be your mother's mom,
Mm, unpack that. Okay, so,
if you can.
let me see. So, mine's is a little deeper because I'm Cancerian, I'm nurturing, and I'm everybody mama.
Okay.
I'm my mother's mom, I'm my dad's mom, I'm my brother's mom, I'm my cousin's mom. Sometime I'm my grandmother's mom. They all come to consult with me.
Right.
And I had to find other people to go and consult with them because I can't consult with them because they come to consult with me. So it's a lot for me because it's layered. And
Right.
I didn't realize that I did this, but unconsciously, I guess at the age of 7, when I took on the responsibility of being responsible for my little brother, I took on the responsibility as being a mom. And I guess when that happened, my mother transitioned into, okay, she's the mom. And so she even acts like I'm the mom. Like my
Mm.
mom called herself my badass kid because she's a badass kid. She is like, boy, she full of joy. I realize that it's joy, but baby, sometimes she be driving me crazy. And I just be like, I don't know. I just sit back sometimes and just watch her. But I believe became everybody's mom unconsciously, with just fulfilling a task of a mother in the house. And that's what's like kinda I thought I was being a big sister,
Hmm.
but I wasn't being a big sister. I
Right.
was being everybody's mom.
Right.
And I think that that role is misconstrued in a lot of households when you have women that have multiple children and they have an older sibling. The older sibling becomes like the mom or the dad
Come on now.
without really knowing that they become the mom or the dad. And then because I come from a different generation, we latchkey kids. It was like go home. You went in the house, you did what you were supposed to do. Making sure we had cleaning days. Okay. We had to learn how to cook. We had home economics in school. We had all of these different things to where like, did you really need an adult?
Mm.
Or like who was the adult? Like I kinda just always operated like I knew what the fuck I was doing. Hope I could say that. But yeah, I just operate like I knew what I was doing, you know? Even if I didn't know what I was doing, God was guiding me and I was doing what I was supposed to do. And I always did what felt right to me, but because I'm naturally like nurturing and a mom, I think it just came natural and everybody comes to me.
But let me say this though. I know you talk about being everyone's mom, but I guess I'm thinking about my daughter before I got custody of her and her sister. She would always tell me that mom would, sometimes would do things, and it was almost like she had to be the adult. Say, no, we can't do that. And you're the child having to. So when I unpack being my mother's mom, I'm unpacking a lot of other things also, like decision making. Mom's not making the best decision, so I, as a child, my daughter as a child had to tell mom, hey, we can't do this. Like, we shouldn't be doing this. And technically, mom should be telling her, like, this is a bad decision. But you're the one having to step into that role because mom is unable to do it. Not even that she's unwilling, she may not even be mentally able to do that.
I think that it's a lot, it's awareness. It's awareness and it's also passed down traumas. Because in my situation, my mother is the oldest sibling. So she has been a mom since she was my age. So I think by the time it came for her to really parent her children and attached with a drug addiction, she tapped out a little bit. She was there, she was present, but she didn't do the motherly nurturing things because she had been doing it all her life. And my mother has 4 siblings.
Mhm.
So one of her memories is when she went outside, she had her brother on her hip. So with me going outside with my brother on my hip, that didn't seem so foreign to her because it was something that she had to do.
Mhm.
And then my grandmother is the oldest, and she did the same thing because her mother died when she was young. So it's passed down behaviors and the lack of awareness that that's what you're doing.
Mm.
So they lacked the awareness that that's what they was doing. So my grandmother didn't think that it was an issue when she gave the responsibility to my mom because she had it. And my mom didn't see the issue when she gave it to me because her mom gave it to her. So she didn't see it as an issue either. So
Mm.
until it takes a person like me to be like, hey, this probably ain't right.
Yeah.
Let's unpack this. Let's figure out what's going on. And so you got to take that person to be insert and do the work. But a lot of
Mm.
people don't want to do that work because the work is hard, but it's
But
necessary.
before you get to the work, let me talk about this real quick because I'm starting to, as you were talking, I'm sitting here in my mind, like, I'm saying, wow, we need a study done on this because or maybe there has been a study.
Mhm,
Is there a correlation between being the oldest child and an extension of being a mom and a dad, even when you have a mom and a dad as a child? Because I'm the oldest. My mom is the oldest. You're the oldest. Your mom is the oldest.
mhm,
My wife, who was also her mom's mother, she's the oldest, but she's the only child. But she's the oldest. She's the only child. And I'm just wondering now, like this, because now there's a responsibility some parents place on a child, like Lacey, my daughter Lacey.
mhm,
She's her mother's mom. She's the oldest out of three, and she had that burden. And even to this day, even when I got custody, like her mom was an adult, but she still has to help her mom make decisions. These are simple decisions, nothing complicated, but just she has to help her with these decisions. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, man, is this like an is this? I'm sure it's not this oldest child, but I'm like, it does seem to be a heavy burden because I know even me as a child, I felt like I was having to make I'm probably a little bit more equipped than my siblings because I've always had a lot of responsibility on me, right? And so it's been good for me, but also it's left me with some trauma that I had to
mhm,
unpack, right?
mhm,
And because there was an expectation for me to do the things that I do, and that's not really a fair expectation. I should have been allowed to be 100% child all the time, but yeah, I have other siblings that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's kind of like I have to kind of try to reel them in as best I can. Lacey had to deal with that, meaning my daughter. You've dealt with that. You still this stuff doesn't even end. It keeps going. So it's not
mm-mm,
like it's not like it's gonna be for a short period of time. When you have a parent that lacks self-awareness, it seems like, that's a lifelong, I don't want to say illness, but to some degree, I mean, especially if there's some mental health concerns attached to that they just can't seem to deal with it.
mhm. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's an unspoken expectation. And with the unspoken expectation, they give us the responsibilities unknowingly. And then I think that this is like when I look at stuff like at the surface level, my mind just go into like a whole bunch of different layers. Like I've been calling my grandmother and asking her questions. And I'm trying to figure out where did this shit start? You know what I mean? Like where did this start? And you got to think about, say, my grandmother's grandmother. They were still like sharecroppers, and they were still having large families to take care of land, and they wasn't giving a damn about how you felt. You better get your ass up and go out in this field, cause we got to get this food, and we got to do this, and we got to do that. Like we come from large families. Like my grandfather had 18 kids. What he was doing with 18 kids? Like why? But that's when they were using their children as workers.
Mm.
So it start all the way back there, and then if you never do the work to heal, and then they didn't have the level of information that we have too. So they was only working with what they had, and if you didn't have wise counsel, you wasn't getting taught that it shouldn't be like this
Mm.
because it was a normalcy. And that goes into, like, the Great Migration North and all of that because those people I'm talking about, when they feel like they realize that they didn't wanna do the stuff, like, I don't wanna go out there in that field. I wanna go up north and be free. So it's like it's so layered, and we just talking about, like, the one layer, but it goes back so many different generations, and I don't think that those generations did the work,
Mm-mm.
and so we are doing the work
Yeah,
because we're that in between generation that have
yeah.
access to the information. We really utilize our voices, like, cause we gonna say, "You ain't gonna talk to me like that." Like, I told my grandmother one day, cause my grandmother, y'all, she like Madea, and she don't give a damn what she say, she just ain't got no gun. If she had a gun, she probably be in jail, cause she probably would've shot somebody by now. But anyway, she just she say whatever she wanna say. She'll cuss you clean out, and then at the end of it, and be like, "And have a blessed day." Bitch, you just cussed me out. Like, you just cussed me out. And one day I remember her asking me something, and she was talking to my Papa John crazy, and I was like, "Pop, don't let her talk to you like that. Put your foot down." And she was like, "Oh, you want him to put his foot down? I'll put him and you out." I said, "Well, you could put me out because guess what, Jewel? You need my help right now. Can you get up and move your arms? Now you talking shit. You shouldn't be mean to your help like that." And she said something else, and I dropped it and walked out the door. You're not gonna talk to me like that because you got to teach them that. But they don't come from that. Like they pop let you let me have been her child in the present day when she had kids, and I would have said that, my lips would have been on the floor. I wouldn't have had no teeth or nothing. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the generation they come from.
Yep.
You don't have a question back. You don't have no remember, I know you was taught that you ain't had no feelings, right?
For sure. For sure.
We was taught that we ain't even have no feelings. So it's like, how do you acknowledge with your parents that they hurting your feelings?
Mhm.
And you didn't have no feelings because they told you you didn't have no feelings.
I'm up here laughing because you
Because you
done
know it's
you
real.
you done said so much stuff. I'm just
Because
I
you know it's
oh,
real.
it's definitely real. You got the audacity to tell me I don't have any feelings, and then when I express feelings, they say, "Get over it.
Get over
Get
it.
over it."
Children are to be seen and not heard.
That's crazy.
That's what they used to tell
That's
us.
that's crazy. But listen, from a grace perspective, and I think that's where we are right now. Like we're giving grace because we're starting to realize like my dad had 12 siblings, my mom had 9, and my mom actually raised 2 or 3 of her siblings. Like growing up, they lived with us because for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know the particulars of it. I just know that my grandmother's still living. I love her; she's phenomenal. But all I know is that the last couple of kids that she had, which were my aunts, they lived with us. My mom ended up raising them, and she's the oldest. And it does seem like that back then that was common for maybe the oldest child to take my wife's mom the same thing. Like she raised some of her siblings, but like you say, you got these really big families and everybody has to work. It's just a different time, I'm sure. But like I love millennials and Gen X because I feel like we're doing the work. You're a millennial, I'm a Gen X. Like we're realizing some of these things are just not okay. Right? Like they're just not. I mean, and I'm not condemning you for that, but let's sit down and have a conversation so I can understand why you moved the way you moved. Like I had to give my mom a lot of grace, and I'm so thankful to therapy because therapy allowed my therapist said something to me, just kind of like what your therapist said to you about you were motherless,
Mhm,
right? And that hit you like a ton of bricks. I
mhm,
was talking to my therapist about my mom not being emotionally available to have certain discussions. I feel like I said, my mom doesn't know me. She thinks she know me, but she doesn't. But here's the thing: I had to come to grips with. I didn't know her either. I didn't really know her. I'd never unpacked her trauma and her experience. And so I started going to lunch with her once a month to kind of understand her better, her trauma, her triggers, what she went through in life, and so I can better understand and kind of coexist with mom. But my therapist said something to me one day. He said, "Don, you've done exceptionally well. Show your mother the king she raised because she missed it." And I
mm,
said, "Oh, okay." I had that moment like you, where I'm just like, well, I had to truly realize my mother, she doesn't realize what she raised. She don't even know me. So she's being judgmental and saying things, but she doesn't really know. She doesn't
mhm.
really know. So now I gotta show her the king she raised because she missed it. And that's us, our generations doing the real work. It's not no more of this, I'm your mother, I'm your father, don't don't say anything to me or keep your mouth closed. No, we're going to talk about how you just talked to me. We're going to talk about your entitlement issues. You feel entitled to certain things from me. I don't owe you anything. Remember, you told me as a child, you brought me in this world. I didn't bring you in here. You said that you brought me in here. So it is your response. I didn't ask to be here. You brought me here. And now you want me to do stuff for you. And don't get me wrong. I will do it when I want to do it, but I'm not entitled to do these things. But I think that some parents have that mentality, and we have to teach them better. And that's what I've had to do with. You got to do that with your own mom and dad. Sometimes you got to teach them
Mhm.
better, and that's what we're. And I think that's what our generations are doing. We're teaching our parents better, right? And without beating them and like verbally and just fussing at them all the time. I'm gonna show you through my actions. You're gonna treat me differently because I'm gonna show you how to treat me by my actions and what I'm gonna deal with and what I'm not gonna deal with, what I'm gonna respond to and what I'm not gonna respond to. Right. And
Mhm.
so I think it's on us as our generations to really help our parents be better because my mom still hasn't truly unpacked some of her trauma, but she's told me enough to where I understand some of her decisions, right? And it just allows me to compartmentalize a lot of things better. It allows me to give her grace. Parents need grace. Listen, man, my daughters have complained about when I was going through a divorce. I mean, there was a lot of things they had to deal with. And I give grace because I want grace. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Hey, I mean, so I give grace to my mom, my dad, anyone else that's parenting, trying to figure this thing out. But it is a lot, man, because generationally, it's just they don't talk, they don't communicate.
They weren't talk they don't have those hard conversations. But who really wants to sit down and have a hard conversation? Most relationships or business partnerships, everything kinda ends because this is like a hard conversation. Like, I was to say, "You know what, Don? I don't like how you just sip that drink.
Right.
Don't do that no more." You know
Right.
what I mean? But most people wouldn't say that. They would just be like, "Eh, well, they would just overlook it. So a lot of us have
But
these
oh, hold on.
issues
Before you go any further, why do we do that though?
because if you acknowledge what's going on, you gotta face the truth,
Okay.
and then you gotta actually do the work behind the truth
Mhm.
to fix it. Because now you've acknowledged the mess.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna add something else to that. You're right. But also the person like you won't even say that to me because you're expecting me to take that and say, okay, you're right, Jamila. I shouldn't be drinking during the podcast. But you probably won't even say anything. Like sometimes I don't bring certain things to my mom because I would like for her to act one way, but I think she's going to act a totally different way. So I don't even bring it to her because of the expectation. Sometimes, and so now I don't have any expectation on anything. So now I can bring anything to my mother. So when you say something to me about this, about me drinking, if you already have an expectation in your head that I'm going to be nice about it, you'll go ahead and ask me. But if the expectation is Donald's probably going to go off on me, now you don't even. So now it starts to really stunt your growth because I can't even have conversations with you because I feel like if I do, you're going to go off on me, and I don't even need that energy. So I'm not even going to say anything.
Because most people don't like conflict.
But there you go.
It's if anything arises to where there can be a possible conflict, they don't wanna have that conversation because then that really makes you have to tell your truth. And
Mm,
most people do not wanna sit down and have truthful conversations because the conversation like, I asked my daughter if I'm a good parent to her. My brother told me the other day, I said, "Have you ever asked your son that?" He said, "Why?" I was like, "Because they're experiencing you as a parent. So you may think you're doing a good job, but you could probably doing a bad job.
right.
But they think that you think you're doing a good job, but you never asked them because they're experiencing it."
Mm. Jamila, let me sit with that for a minute because I had a because my mom said something, and I love my mom, so she's probably gonna watch
We
this.
love our moms.
We
We
love y'all.
love them
So it's not
dearly.
that, but one time she said, maybe like 3 4 months ago, she said, "I'm a good mom." And I just kind of let her have it. I'm not saying she's not, but I'm just saying it's not for you to say. It's not for me to tell people that I'm a good dad. My kids will tell you that if they feel that way, right? It's for me to say whether or not you're a good mom or not. It is that is not your place to say you're a good mother, right? And
Mhm.
so that's a little bit of narcissism there, for you to think that you get to tell your kids that you're a good parent. You don't get to do that.
I would have asked her, "So what's your definition of a good mom?" Because what my therapist is teaching me now is that when you want to have those hard conversations we talking about, just ask questions. Just continuously ask questions. Don't take it personal. Ask them another question. to get where it is that you're trying to get. Because most people
Mm,
going either they're gonna answer or they're gonna back down. If they back down, rephrase, come back, ask it a different way, but get your
mm.
answer.
Guys, y'all hear this man? Jamila's talking. This is therapy talking. Therapy had you being strategic as hell when you talking to people.
Strategic as hell.
So,
Mm,
you talking about, man, being able to ask questions, being able to do things strategically, being able to have conflict resolution, emotional intelligence. Like you're executing in your greatest self when you take therapy seriously, and just even outside of therapy, like reading books,
mhm.
and just like there's a book by Mel Robbins called Let Them. Oh my God, Jamila, you got to read it.
Oh,
It's a life changing book, life changing. I encourage everyone to read Let Them by Mel Robbins.
yes, yes, and since he just said, "Let them," I'm gonna say, watch Pastor Mike McClure on YouTube. He is also doing a series that started out as Becoming, but he said the people told him that it is "Let Them." Listen, y'all, he
Wow.
on fire. He on fire. So read this book and then go watch Pastor Mike McClure from Rock City in Alabama. I don't know where in Alabama, but I've been listening to him. And he he
I love that.
been on fire. So yeah,
Wow. So he's got a Let Them. Like
Let Them series. He's been
Let
starting
Them
since
series.
January. He started it
Wow.
out as Becoming, but I guess as he's been preaching, the people that's receiving it, it was like, I don't know about Becoming. I think it's more than like Let Them.
Listen, when you read that book, you're gonna probably be like, I think he got some of these principles from this. I mean, because that's a people are getting Let Them tattooed on them. Like it's a really big movement. Like, and it's backed by really emotional intelligence and just therapy and just the way we deal with people. It's a I've read it a few times, and I've sent it to people who are having problems dealing with mothers. It seems like moms are really triggering to a lot of people because I think the dads. I think people are accustomed. I don't know what it is about dads. They just get a lot of negative energy, but like people have a hard time dealing with their moms.
I think that dads may get a little bit more grace because even in my sessions, my therapist said to me, she was like, "You don't really talk that much about your dad." And I was like, "You kind of right, I don't. I ain't think about it like that." And I think what my situation with my dad is that I give him grace because he's not my biological father. He stepped into my life when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
So I operate with the space. I operate from the space with him of I'm grateful that he's here because I'm not a fatherless
Mm,
daughter because he
mm.
stepped into my life. But as far as fulfilling father roles, did he do that? And I'm like, hmm. So we currently working on that. We currently working on that. I wrote him a letter last week. I had to write both my parents' letters, y'all, and I hand wrote them and I put them in envelopes. I gave them to them, both of them, and it was very interesting their responses. And my dad is still trying to figure out what I meant by my letter.
Wow. All right. So I love what you said about writing your parents a letter.
Mhm.
Man, that is strong. Because when you're trying to talk to your parents, like you got to deal with, whatever the rebuttal might be. But if I can just, and you may not be able to get all your feelings out before, there's some interruption, but writing a letter uninterrupted, you're going to, and if they read it, then, and whether they receive it or not, it doesn't matter. I got it all for me. And so I love the fact that I might have to try that. I like you writing your your parents a letter. Man,
Mhm.
that's strong.
It was my homework for therapy, y'all.
Wow.
It was a homework assignment, and really was. It's kind of like how you said your therapist said um, about your mom. It doesn't see the king in you. So I have been working with my parents seeing me. I'm like, I don't think they see me. Like, I do they really see me? Like the woman that I am standing in front of them today. I'm like, I think they see me to this like 12, 13-year-old Jamila, and I'm not her anymore.
Mm,
So I'm working on being seen by them. And so and
mm.
creating new memories with them. And so that was the letter really was about I don't know if you guys see me, but I would love for you guys to see me and I would love to create new memories with y'all that are not dictated on our past, but us creating new things so I
I
can
love
fill my
that.
memory bank with new memories rather than the ones that we've had previously because they're not all the best.
I love that. And let me say this too, like you was raised by your mom, right?
I was raised by my mom and my dad.
So let me say this, because even my therapist, like, he wasn't just saying, show your mother, the king that you are. He specifically said, "Show your mother the king she raised, because she missed it." Even like who you are, the queen that you are, the exceptional person that you are, despite your mom's faults, she still raised you. So,
She did, and she
so,
did a
so
phenomenal
you have
job.
to.
She,
So,
from her level of experience, she did a phenomenal job. She made sure we stayed together. She did the best that she could with the tools that she had in her belt.
for sure,
And I mean, when I was young, I didn't understand that, but when I got older and I look back, I was like, she did the best that she could with the tools that she had in her belt.
for sure.
And like she's still learning to this day. And when I started my women's group, Women of Resolve, my mom was like the biggest advocate for it. And I think that really shined a light on me in a different aspect in her eyes, to see me be able to have conversations and hold space for other women and hold space for her that she has never even stepped in a room of women like that. And that really helped us in the process of healing as well. Like she took it so seriously. Like she got the affirmations on the wall. She quote her affirmations, and it's like being around me makes her better. And so it's just like it's really rewarding. It's hard work though, but it's rewarding to see that me and her have actually had the progress, and I can sit back and look at the things that she did and been like, okay, she's not aware that that's what she did.
Mm,
And self-awareness is
it's
huge
everything.
because a lot of people don't have it. That's
Yeah.
like it's simple. It could be as simple as somebody not smelling so good. They don't know that they don't smell that
Yeah,
good
no idea.
because they're not aware that they're supposed to smell another way.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but it's so in depth too. And so I had to realize that she wasn't aware of a lot of things because of how she grew up, and she didn't have the information. And then I'm a information seeker. Like I'm always
Mm,
trying to find out
right.
some stuff. I'm always trying to find out something, or if I get a thought, I'm like layered into it and I want to go deep into it. Like even after we had our conversation the other day, I went into, so, is there a different in parenting in different generations
For
and
sure.
eras?
For sure.
And how does that affect you? Like how they were parented and how they parent us, did that affect us? How did that work? So I'm like a informational seeker, and some people don't seek out information. They just comfortable with what they know.
Mm, I like that because you're 100% right. Like, or comfortable in what they don't know.
Right. They okay
Okay.
with it.
Because here's the thing about me, and me and you are a lot alike. That's why I love talking to you. Like, I'm always trying to be better. So, like, I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better businessman. I want to be better in my community. Anything I can do better. I'm never like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No, I'm not. Whatever y'all say I am, I guess that's what I am. That's on y'all. But I wake up every day to try to figure out how I can be better at all things Donald Doe. And I think, like I said before, millennials and Gen X, and I think we get it. I think we get it. So we talk about the generations. I think that generationally, we got to unpack a little bit of that. Like, so parenting generationally. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that the parents had a lot to do with uh a lot parenting in the generation of being parented, that era of time has a lot to do with it. Like, so I'm speaking from the experience of our communities being filled with drugs. The 80s. Then the 70s, it was something else. In the 60s, it was something else. And in the 50s, it was civil rights. And so you have different behaviors and different things that the community adapts to because of the time that they live in. Like, think of like right now, your granddaughter is not going to know how
No.
to let's say something simple. Let me see, simple. She's not gonna know cartoons on Saturday morning.
No.
We got up, we watched cartoons on Saturday morning
Yep.
and ate cereal
For
and
sure.
cleaned the house.
Yeah.
She's not gonna do that on TV because she
Mhm.
got a tablet.
Yeah.
And by the time she get big, she probably have a hologram pop up and she'd be like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And it's gonna be like, "Sure." Like they don't even know life without robots.
For sure.
Like they talk to Siri. "Hey Siri."
Yeah.
I couldn't fathom at like 5 or 10, I was gonna be able to talk to my phone and it was gonna tell me whatever I wanted it to
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
Like, they're living in the age of information, so I think it all changes and parenting has to change with the times. Like, I know as a millennial that I'm not that attached to my phone, y'all. So if you call me, I ain't see it. You text me, I read it, I ain't reply. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I seen it. I gotta reply right now? Or like, that's not me
Mhm.
because I'm not that person.
Okay.
But it's people that like, you take go take this phone from a 12-year-old. Shh,
Ain't,
they gonna lose
ain't got
their.
to be 12. It take it from me. Yeah, I'm attached to my phone. It's like,
We're all attached to our and oh my gosh, over the weekend I went to my brother's house in my observation because I try to be intentional when I'm around people that I love, or if I'm out enjoying if I paid to go to a concert, I ain't gonna be on my phone. Baby,
mm,
Imma be in the show. I ain't gonna have no footage. The footage I get gonna be shaky or whatever because 'cause I'm having a good time. But everybody is stuck in their own algorithm.
mm,
So, family time don't look like family time used to look when
right.
we were younger
Sure.
because you looking at what you looking at, I'm looking at what I'm looking at, the kid looking at what he looking at, this one over there looking at what they looking at, and everybody's in their own world.
Mm,
So, how do you figure out how to parent through that? It's just so many different layers to it, and it's just like, we have to figure out as Gen X and millennials how to properly parent and give love and affection and attention with technology, and that's a little tough when technology has everybody's attention span.
but let me go back to this, man, because you originally started with talking about parents and how they move generationally, like differently, and we talked a lot about information. So, so now I'm at a point that I'm like, when it comes to my parents, who are baby boomers, my mom, and she's the only one still alive now, but like it's not an information it's not an information issue anymore. Information is everywhere. So now it's a matter of you being willing to get the information, willing to go to therapy, willing to actually be better emotionally. Like I want to be better emotionally. You know, so how do you deal with that? Because it's no longer we have information overload now. So I mean, so
Too much.
we have too much
Too
information.
much.
Donald Trump said this years ago, but now it's a real thing. Fake news. It's fake information
Man
everywhere
man, AI is crazy.
for sure. So what about that? So it's not like our parents now, if they want to get better, if they want to get better emotionally and start moving in a emotionally intelligent way, like there's steps that they can take now. They can get therapy online. You don't have to go to a therapist anymore. I see my therapist virtually. So you can see a virtual therapist. You can go see a virtual go see a therapist in person. There's so much now. So it's I don't know.
I think that they still stuck in their ways and they are still a generation. What goes on in this house, stay in this
For
house.
sure. Okay.
But who? I ain't going to sit on that couch and tell what? Go
Tell them my business.
telling my business. So they still have even though we are in the information era, they are
Mm,
still stuck. They are still
for sure.
in their time.
I like that.
And they're just some of them will do the work if they see that it's necessary, but a lot of them are not in the
Yeah.
space or willing to do the work because they still what was taught to you in your core years, that's
Yeah.
that's a lot of who you are.
I like that. Some of them are not willing to. Here's the
They're
thing,
just not willing to do it.
and I think that's why Mel Robbins' book took off because it's been out for years. But the whole "let them" theory, it's a whole theory behind it, was so powerful because it's a second part to that. It's let them and then let me. Because if my mother is unwilling to be better emotionally, then let me make some changes. And then what happens is because I've made some changes, over time, these other individuals, they end up kind of changing as a byproduct of you moving different. But when you're trying to
Absolutely.
force change on people, they reject it. Right. So
Absolutely.
you change yourself. So let them is about letting them be who they are, but let me move differently. And then over time, and I'm not moving differently to make her move different. I'm moving differently because I have to protect my peace. I had to protect my energy. And
Boundaries.
then I'm gonna set boundaries, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna do what I had to do for me. And then over time, it seems to be like if you want a relationship with me, now you start moving differently as a reaction to me moving differently. So maybe
Mhm.
you don't want to go to therapy, and that's okay. But it's not okay. But but that's what you choose to do. Let them. I have no control over you going to therapy, but I do have control over how I deal with things. And a lot of times, with us dealing with things differently, over time, it didn't happen overnight, but over
Mhm.
time, they started to realize, okay, I can't play with this one. Now, this person is very well aware of who they are. They're self-aware. They're protecting their energy. They have boundaries. People think that boundaries, oh, boundaries are bad. Boundaries are necessary.
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 Okay, because if and you have to abide by the boundaries that you've set. But yeah,
Ooh,
you
Jamila, stop there. No, don't talk too much. I
oh,
want you to unpack that. You have to abide, and that's in the let them theory too. You got this. It's a great book. Anyway, you
okay.
have to abide by the boundaries you set because you're teaching people. So if I set a boundary that I'm not dealing with this, and then I deal with it, I've actually set a boundary that I'm willing to deal with this stuff. So unpack that. Like you have to.
Yeah. I get how do I explain it? You have to be willing to have if your boundary inflicts conflict, you got to be willing to have the conflict. Whatever your boundaries are. So if you said, I don't take phone calls after 10 p.m.
Mm,
and you got a girlfriend that call you every night at 10:10 and you answer the phone for her every night at 10:10, then you're not abiding by the boundary.
mm.
That's a simple
I love that.
example of it.
Yeah.
So if you say something to somebody, you have to be able to stand on what it is that you said. And sometimes it's hard because those people
Mm.
that you set the
Come on,
boundaries
man.
for are the people that you really, really love
Right.
that know how to push and shake and move the boundary. So it makes
Let me
you
say this real quick though,
Mhm.
because I hate to cut you off, but I don't want the listeners to miss this. You said that sometimes it's hard, and sometimes I think that it's hard because we thinking that, oh, I can do this just one time.
Mhm. But what I realized is that if you so let me give you an example of my mother, right? So if my mother said, "Hey, can you take me to Walmart?" Sure, I can take you to Walmart. Is there anywhere else you want to go? Nah, I just want to go to Walmart. So we get to Walmart, y'all. And then she'd be like, "Well, can you take me to Family Dollar? Can I go to Food Lion?" No, you cannot. No, you cannot. Because I asked you in the beginning, did you have anywhere else to go? And you said no. So we're going to Walmart and I'm taking you back home. And she'd be like, "You really ain't gonna take me?" I'm not, because you're not going to impede on my time.
Right.
I've already told you that if you want to have multiple stops, is to let me know from the beginning, because
Mhm.
then we could accommodate to do the multiple stops. Because you're not about to go running anywhere. Like, I'm gonna just be real fast. Since when are you going in the store real fast? You're gonna take a long time in there, and then I'm gonna have to come get you, and then I gotta come help you with the bags. No, 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 no. And so she learned, because after a few times "Can we go here?" and a "Nah, we can't go," she started planning
I
accordingly.
love that
So it's just simple things like
for
that, and you
sure
have to be firm in it, because even though you may wanna do it,
because it's not that big of a deal,
because it's not that big of a
but it
deal,
is.
but it is that big of a deal because you trying to teach them
Come on, man.
how to operate in your world too. Because
Mm.
you're just not about to take my mother had me out all day. And then she's like, me and her have like the same personality. She real like joyful and she got a lot of personality. So she walk in a space, she gonna take up a whole bunch of space, and she got a whole bunch of energy, and everybody like her and they think she funny. And it's just no,
And let me say this,
we're not
Jamila,
doing
man.
that.
I think I can speak for you because it's not like you have a problem doing all these stops. But if you tell me beforehand, I can make sure I fit this into my day. But if you, I almost feel like you tried to manipulate me when you tell me you only have one stop, and then we get to the one stop, and now you want to go other places. And if I allow you to get away with this, you're gonna do it again
It's
and again.
manipulation. And it's for my mom, I realized that it's survival too. And she's been in survival mode her whole
Yeah,
life. And so she don't see it as
for
manipulation.
sure.
She see it as, well, I got the opportunity to go do it right now. So let
Right,
me see if I can,
right.
because that's her survival. But it's like, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna plan out accordingly. Because you're not about to have me out here all day. messing around with you. And then she just find all kind of stuff to do. You wanna go to the Goodwill? You wanna go have lunch? You wanna go do this? No, I wanna take you home is what I wanna do. I want you to go back home is what I wanna do. Can you do this for me? Mm-mm. And it sometimes it hurt to say no,
Right.
but you have to choose when and where
Listen,
you gonna say yes and no.
listen, I've had to say no to my mom, you know, a lot. And these are things that I could easily do, but I had to say no because I realized that it was going to be a pattern. And it was, and I love my mom, I adore her. I mean, but I just sometimes I just have to say no.
Mhm,
And you talked about like how, in our culture, we experience certain things. What I've come to realize is that even me and my wife were at a couples retreat, and most of the couples there were white. And it's this group that I'm a part of called Uncaged, and it's a men uh, empowerment, almost like mental health group. Make sure guys are okay mentally,
mhm.
and I love the group because of that. But a lot of it started by a white gentleman, a phenomenal guy named Zach. But most of the guys in there are white. But we went to a retreat, and some sort of way we got on moms, and the guys, and there was a couple of guys in there crying and hugging about their mother. These were white guys. They were just crying about their mom being a narcissist and not having a good relationship with their mom being toxic. And, me and Michael, we helped them with some of the stuff. We just kind of talked about, mothers and things of this nature. But they kind of got it out and they hugged each other, the two guys that had the biggest problems. And I said to myself, wow, this mom stuff is just
It's deep
serious.
and you it could be something simple like, I remember example, me and my daughter, one day I think we were driving and she was in the passenger, she was probably like 7, and she was singing, and I was like, "Girl, better stop what get it together." And I said something and it silenced her voice for singing, so she doesn't
Wow.
sing anymore. And
Mm.
when she said like but me and her have really open dialogue, so she said one day I asked her like, "Why you don't be singing?" She said, "Because that day in the car you told me that I didn't sound good."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that like that." So it's simple things like that, moms, that we can say to our kids that they hold it forever, and they
Mm.
don't go back and touch on that one thing that they may have liked to do or they may have wanted to explore and you didn't do it and you didn't understand. Like that's like saying, you give your kids giving your kids say soursop. That's wow, but
What's
s
that? What is that?
soursop is it's a fruit. It's a fruit, but it's really good for like cancer and all kind. It's a really amazing fruit that it
Okay.
grows in overseas. So what if the baby is like, "Oh, I really wanna try that," but I ain't never had no soursop
Mhm.
before,
Right.
and I'll be like, "No, it's nasty.
Mm.
I've never had it,
Right.
but Imma tell you
That is nasty.
that it's nasty because I'm looking at it and it look a little gooey and look a little slimy, and I'm like, 'Nah, you shouldn't do that.'" But if you as a
Mm.
child is like, "I really, really want that," who are you to, not expand their palate? Because you don't
Mm.
wanna try it. And so it's
Mm.
small things like that that we do as parents that are hindrance to our kids. And so, I try to be a little more open since I realize stuff like that. I'm open. Like my daughter listens to all kind of stuff. The child listens to Russian rock music. She listens to
I can see that.
all kind of
I
stuff,
mean, you
K-pop.
but I can see you doing that, so it just I don't know, maybe
She's
you
just
don't,
like
but
she's like all over the place, right? And so I I interject myself into her world. So if we get in the car one day, it's not just, "Hey, you can ride." It's like, "Hey, you play the music today." Because I
Mhm.
wanna see what are you what is feeding your ears? Like,
I
what are you
love that.
hearing?
Yeah.
Like, so, as parents, I wanna say for the moms to stop some of the trauma, we have to be
Mm.
more aware of what we say out of our mouths, because what you say out of your mouth is golden to your child.
Oh, it's golden.
What a mom says out of their mouths can either, uh, kill or give life to something for a child. So, be mindful of the words that you speak out of your mouth to your
I
children.
love that.
The things that you take on personally every day, In today's society, most moms are overwhelmed. Create a moment for yourself to be able to go and find peace and balance within self that you can show up as a mom for your kids. Don't come home and bring work home with you. I know you're overwhelmed and you're tired
Mhm.
and it's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but stay committed to your kids. Stay committed to being their mom. And sometimes that commitment may have you up to 2, 1 o'clock in the morning, but they'll remember that you were committed to it rather than, oh, my mother just, she just gonna be like, whatever. Like the other day, I was out all day and my daughter had a art project. My daughter's 18, by the way. She was doing a paper mache of a peanut butter jar. And I told her I was going to help her. I wanted to help her. I wanted to do it with her. And she didn't think about doing it by herself. And in my mind, I'm like, don't she see it's 11, 10 o'clock? Why she? I know she could have. She should have been did this by now. Because I would have already took on that responsibility and be like, when she get home, she gonna be tired. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. Nope, that baby waited for me. She had everything out on the table, and my commitment to her was I was tired, y'all. When I said I just want to go to bed, I want to go to bed. But my commitment to her was okay. I came in, I changed my clothes. I said, all right, now what do we got to do?
Mm.
And it takes that extra mile as a mom. Because our kids, because we don't have that much time with them now, because your mom is working probably 8 to 12 hours, only 24 hours in a day. Then they going to school, then they coming home and you have your little routine at home. Create some more time for them. Like create more time to be a mom, a mother, not just a person supplying them with shelter, food, and clothes. Because and a lot of us are just providing the kids with shelter, food, and clothes. We're not really doing the necessary work to make sure that they're whole humans and that they're well rounded emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. So just take that time back. I would say have dinner, eat at the table with no devices. Put the devices to the side. Sit down and talk to your kid and figure out who they are. Because a lot of us don't know these little people. You don't know these little people. These little people have so much going. Y'all, they got the world at their hands. They're not
Mm.
influenced by just you. They're influenced by the whole
Mm.
entire world. Like the whole entire world. The whole entire world. So sit down and create those moments to where you can cultivate and love on them and create what motherhood looks like for you. I know that if my mom would have had a little bit more time to actually sit and talk with me and build with me, it would have probably been different. But
Mm.
she was in her addiction, so how could she?
Mm.
I don't have any judgment now. It is what it is. You know what I mean? That was her journey in life. But for my moms out there now, just create a loving environment for them. And sometimes, not sometimes, that means that you got to create a loving environment for you. You got to love on you, got to take care of you, however or whatever it looks like. Take a deep breath. I know you overwhelmed. I know you tired. Because I know y'all. Listen, I see it every day. These women out here working 2, 3 jobs to take care of these kids. And they tired by the time they get home. Don't you ask, what you say? You what? Go sit down. No, not no. So and that is real because I'm overwhelmed. People been asking me stuff all day. And I get back here and you got more questions. So just create a process for you to just love on yourself, decompress, and realize that they really do need you. And you are their first everything. And the way you were parented may not be the way you need to parent your kids. Our kids have
Mm.
different personalities, different behaviors, and so do you. So figure out who you are so that you can better parent them and show up for them. And don't pass down your trauma and your stuff. If you know you got some stuff with you, and listen, if you got some stuff with you, you know it. You know. Do the work. It's hard,
Mm.
but it's very rewarding when you can look at your children and see that they're healthy, well-rounded people because you did the work.
Mm.
That would be my advice to some moms out there. That's what I've been doing. Doing the work on me so that I can show up as a better version of myself for my daughter and not bring down the stuff that my grandma did to my mama did to me, and creating a different path for her. That's what I did.
No, listen, you continue to drop so many jewels. I just want to say also, like, you said something about the way you were parenting is not always the right way to parent. And I think that's important because a lot of times trauma gets passed down because we say things like, well, my mom or or dad, whoever did this to me, my parents raised me this way, so I'm raising you this way. Look at me, I turned out okay. But did you really? Like, did you
Mm,
really turn out okay? Right?
right.
Did you? Yeah, I'm not saying you may have a good job, you may have a degree, you may have all these things, but emotionally, you lack emotional intelligence. You're not okay
Mm,
emotionally, right? So the things that they did to you actually did not help you. They did not make you be who, the well-rounded person that you think you are. You have a lot of work to do. But a lot of times we say these things because maybe some superficial things around us look good, but emotionally we don't handle things well. And we pass that emotional trauma down to our children, and we wonder why they act a certain type of way because we
mhm,
didn't deal with certain traumas in our life. So, and you talked a lot about like dealing with like our children, but I think even as an adult child, parents still have an obligation to their adult child, their adult children,
they
to not
do.
pass down trauma because most of the limitations that kids face, whether they're young children or adult children, come from parents.
Mhm,
Limited parents pass limitations down to their children,
mhm,
and it's not limited physically, mentally limitations. They pass this stuff down, and you can't do that to your children. Like you said, sit to get to know your kids. Like mom, I love my mom. My mom, she doesn't know me. Like, she's learning me now. Now that I've made the effort to do more things with her
mhm,
on my end, I think she's starting to learn me a little bit. But she's never said, Donald, who are you?
mhm.
Because I'll ask her, like, hey, how was your childhood, mom? I want to know. Like, I'm asking questions that she's never asked me. And that would help her know me better and understand me better. But instead, sometimes our parents may decide they already know us. So I'm just going to put this label on you. Oh,
Mhm,
Jamila's this way.
mhm.
Oh, Donald's that way. I'm really not. You know what I'm
Really
saying?
not. Like, I think that my parents still think I'm a hothead a little bit. And I'm like, "Yo, I just be really trying to be peaceful and namaste all the time." Like, I don't want no conflict with nobody. I want to keep everything cool. But they got that version of me because I was the mom. So I was the
Mm,
person putting order into things
right.
and checking people, and you don't do this and you do that. So that's why they got that version of me. But I don't operate like that. That's not who
Mm.
I am on a day-to-day basis.
Uh, Yeah, but they have to get to know you again. The thing about we're all evolving. The person that I was as a child, the person I was as a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, 50, these are different people. These are if you really do the work, when you're around people that are doing the work, people that are
Mhm.
self-aware,
Mhm.
so if you're a parent and you have children that continue to evolve into different things, get to know that child all over again because you probably don't know that child. You think you know that child. That's why I love you talking about, asking children questions, getting to know that child. You can't just assume because you have a daughter that is 18 and you've been with her for 18 years of her life that you know her all the time. She's always changing and growing herself.
Changing and evolving and being like, think about how fast we could if we could scroll through TikTok and how many things you can watch that can influence you.
Mm,
Like, we have the age of information. So yeah, we definitely gotta get to know your children. And my my personality wise is really huge too, because that's how you parent them. So me and my daughter have two totally different personalities. Who I am is
mm,
not who she is at all, at all, at all. So I had to learn that if I want to get something conveyed to her, I can't yell.
mm-mm. That don't work.
Like, my mother was a yeller.
Yeah, mine
Her
too.
mother was a yeller. So when I first started parenting, that's how it was. And it would be like,
Right.
why she not understanding what I'm saying? And but
But,
I
but, but
was
let me say something to that, Jamila. I hate to cut you off, but I don't want to skip over this. Our parents were both yellers, and I think they thought that worked.
mhm,
So that's why they would say things like, "Well, look at how you turned out." I promise you, it wasn't because of your yelling and the whoopings. I promise you, it wasn't that. Right. So I just couldn't express to you emotionally what I was going through. So it came out in my behavior and other things that I did in life that I should not have done.
mhm,
So the yelling and the whatever kind of beatings I may have gotten, trust me, that's not why I'm here. I had to overcome those things and really unpack a lot of this trauma to be better. It wasn't those things that made me better. No disrespect. I'm just saying, you know. So even I had to learn because I used to yell at my kids when they were
Mhm.
young and when they were, raising two girls, man, it was hard, man. So so when I got custody, they were always challenging me, and it was very difficult dealing with girls. And I used to yell at them, and I did not get the results that I wanted. I had to learn how to be a therapist and move
Mhm.
strategically dealing with them. And our parents move by force, like
Yep,
do this or get beat,
that's
and
it.
it doesn't work.
Yep, 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 yep. You have to learn how to communicate with through it, and our parents didn't know how to they didn't wanna have the hard conversations we're talking about.
Mm.
So that's why they yelled,
Ooh.
and it was like, "Whatever I say, and that's how you this is what it is," and you couldn't have no
Oh, I
questions
love
because
that.
they didn't wanna have the conversation with
Right.
you because they was taught that children are to be seen and not heard.
Because here's the thing: when you start having that you've already alluded to this, but I think it's important for people watching this to see that the reason why they don't want to have that hard conversations because of if you start to really if I do something wrong and you sit me down and we really talk about why I'm doing this, it comes back to you. And that's the problem. This is gonna come back to what you're doing as a parent. And then it's gonna be like, well, I'm doing the best that I can. Hey, I'm just telling you, ask me what's going on here. I'm not getting the love and support that I need emotionally from my mother.
Lack of accountability.
And you don't want to be accountable for that.
Mhm.
So then it's just like, yelling and whoopings and that does and then I continue to we keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over again because we never got to the real problem.
Never got to the real problem. Nope, you don't even know why he acting out. He acting out because he ain't seen his daddy
Yeah.
in 10 months, but you mad at his father, so you think that it's okay. But or if you took that little boy to his daddy, he probably would behave better. So it'd be simple stuff like that, but we just overlook it
Yeah.
because we're not looking for it.
Right.
We not looking for it. Because if I look
Yeah.
for it, then I gotta fix it.
Yeah. But not
Eh
even that. I gotta fix it. But you talked about accountability. I had to accept accountability that I'm doing something wrong. And we don't want to do that. You know what
oh,
I'm saying? Like we don't want to say, you know what, I could be better. When I realized that I could be better as a father, my daughter was I think 19, 20. We had a session together and she talked about how the divorce affected her and
mhm,
how she felt about me divorcing her mom and we unpacked it all, man. And I realized in that moment that I had become a lot better as a father, that I was even willing to have that conversation and let her
mhm.
just get it all out. And she felt better because then she realized, well, Dad, it really wasn't your fault. But that's just how I felt at the time. Right. So we were able to heal together. Like if my mom would come to me and say, hey, son, you know what? Maybe I didn't do these things quite the right way, but I do love you. I've never heard that. But I'm just saying, like, if she would ever do that, it would probably do a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? But like I think that
So
sometimes
true.
but that means you have to own something that you probably don't want to own because you want to just live with this mindset that I'm a perfect mother. And I think mothers have this problem more than fathers. I'm just because society just gives moms like, oh, moms are great. No matter what mama does, just love mama. And don't get me wrong, we love mama, but mama is sometimes mama's wrong. A lot of times mama's wrong.
Sometimes mommy is wrong and she needs someone to correct her behavior. But um unfortunately, and ladies, we have to do better at this. We have to have more accountability for our actions because your actions don't only affect you, they affect you and your household and everybody around you. Your behavior affects you, your household, and everybody
Mm,
around you.
come on now.
Your perspective on life and things affect you and everybody
Literally.
around you.
Yeah.
So your words, what you say out of your mouth, affects you and everything around you. So we have to take on more accountability for ourselves and 9 times out of 10, men don't have the hard conversations with us to even hold us accountable
Come on now.
because men don't want to,
Don't want no
um,
smoke.
they don't want no smoke because they like, she ain't gonna do it anyway. She gonna do what she wanna do anyway. So we have to allow them to even have space to even, give correction or opinion and take it for what it is because sometimes they're the men in your life are the greatest mirror in your life and they see you
Mm.
and they can help you become a better version of yourself as you should be helping them they should be helping you And we just have to be open to that and not take it so personal because it's not personal. It's for the betterment of the whole entire family. And you have to realize that your role is the glue of the family. Like we keep the family together. So
Come on now.
we have to have accountability for our
Yeah,
actions and how we operate and what we say and what we do. Um, because I don't know about y'all, but I aspire to be the matriarch in my family.
yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I want to be the matriarch, like, that's a title that I want them to be like, "Yeah, she's the matriarch of the family."
I love that. Let me
So,
let me say this too. Things you over here cooking. Um, when you're talking about trying to help other folks that are dealing with this, like, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that is struggling dealing with a toxic parent or toxic parents? Like, what advice would you give them, like, in as far as how to handle that?
first and foremost, I wanna say operate with forgiveness. I wanna say have forgiveness for 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 them. Have grace for them, and take the time out to sit and actually learn who they are, outside of what you know, outside of your perspective of who they are. Sit down, have a conversation with them, and ask some questions. Ask some questions about their childhood. Ask some questions about their upbringing. Ask some questions about what's their morals, what's their values, what matters to them. Ask some questions like, so what is love to you? Ask them some hard questions and don't take it personal on their replies and just listen. Take in what they say and just listen. After you listen, go take that information and sit with it and see and analyze, did they do it to you or were they just living their journey?
Mm,
Because we're just living our journeys. And we as children we're just byproducts of their journey. Like my daughter is a byproduct of my journey. She's living my
come on
journey
now.
with me. We lived our journey with our parents, and they did theirs with their parents. So look at that. Look at the time frame of when this happened. Operate with grace and love. And if y'all ready to do the work, sit down and do the work. And don't have an expectation of them to do the work.
Come on now.
If you can acknowledge that the work needs to be done, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Because like Donald said, his relationship is healing with his mom because of the work that he's doing. My relationship with my mom is healing because of the work that I'm doing. And the work that I'm doing is healing our relationship and also helping her work on her relationship with her mother as well. So just do the work. It's not an easy process, but just don't be judgmental either and just
Come on now.
be present. Be present in it. And sometimes the trauma be so deep that you can't even do that and even converse with your parents. So just do the work for yourself.
Mm,
Do the work for yourself so that you don't carry that energetically in your body every day.
come on now.
Do the work for you and release everything that you don't it's not yours. Create new contracts with yourself. Create new contracts in your life with yourself about your experience with your parents. I'm saying that because I'm doing it. So create new contracts with yourself, new commitments with yourself, and still show up. Sometimes they may receive it, sometimes they may not. And then if they don't take it personal because that's just who they are.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to step outside of what that is because that's what they were taught. And who are you to teach them something new? Like they probably 70, 60, 50, 80 years old. They're not really trying to hear that. So you have to just be okay with whatever that is. Oh, what I want to say. This one is good. Figure out what the orders of love are in your family. That's what was off in my family, the orders of love. So like I said, I was my mom's mom. Put them back into their roles.
Mm,
Put them back into their roles. So if you took on the responsibility of being a responsible one, the adult, the go-to person, you got to do the work to give them back their responsibility. Like, I had to allow my mom to be my mom. Like, because sometimes when she would do motherly things to me, it would annoy me. Like, cause
Yeah.
what? Why are you all my business? Cause
Yeah.
she ain't been in my business. Now you wanna be in my business. But when I addressed that, the motherless thing and the putting us back into our roles, creating the proper orders of love, now I'll be like, "Hey, mom, could you make this appointment for me? Can you do this
Mm,
for me?" And I asked her to do things for me because that's giving her the space to feel like, okay, I'm being her mom. I'm always
mm,
gonna be your mother. You know what I mean? So give them back their responsibilities, whether it's out of order. Like I said, I'm everybody mama. So I had to, y'all, I had it so bad that I even called my brother's son. That I called my brother son. Yes, son. What do you need, son? Like
mm.
unknowingly. So now and I'm still working on it because the other day he called me and he needed some advice and I sons him the whole conversation. Um, but now I'm working on he's poopy. We call each other poopy.
Poopy?
Yeah, we
Okay,
call each other poopy.
I
I'm
get it.
poopy, he's poopy.
I get it.
So now it's working on calling him poopy or calling him by his name, not son, creating that order of love. Like I'm your sister, I'm not your
Mm,
mom. And giving her that responsibility back that you're his mom, I'm not his mom.
mm.
So just give them back their roles and allow them to do it however they're going to do it. Don't put no expectation on it. Just let them show up however they're going to show up and create new memories with them because that's really what you want is to create new memories so that we could kind of like erase some of the flashcards of all of the toxic stuff and the trauma and create some beautiful memories because at the end of the day your memories is all that you're going to have.
Mm,
When they transition or how you transition, whoever transition, the memories that are created in the middle of the dash is all that matters. So create the best memories that you can. Let them be your mama. Let them be your daddy. Even if they want your mama for 60 years,
mm. Right.
allow that person to be your mom and allow them to flow into that space and just be present in doing the work. I guess that's what I was.
No, I love all of that, man. Operate with forgiveness and grace. Don't be judgmental. Don't have an expectation. Let your parents be who they are. Understand you're doing the work for yourself.
Mhm,
If they can get something out of it, great. I mean, but don't have an expectation for them to get something out of it. Um, I go to lunch with my mom for me, and
mhm.
it seemed like she's getting something out of it now, though. But but I didn't have an expectation of that. I just wanted to get to know her better. You're doing the work for you, and so you're giving this advice out because you're actually living this. You're doing this. Like we're both we're doing this. We're giving them their roles back, letting them be mom, and doing all of this work without any expectation. And that's the best thing you can do. And see a therapist. Jamila sees a therapist. I see a therapist. My wife has seen all about our mom. And see a therapist, man.
Get a
Yeah,
therapist.
get some help.
Therapy is okay. So to break the stigma, so therapy for me is I go and have a conversation, and she asks me questions that I never would have thought about. And she gives insight and perspective on things that I never would have thought about. Like, that's it. It's not about you. It's not the it's y'all, it is not what you seen on HBO back in the day. And the person laying on the couch and they crying and
For
the
sure.
person is sitting there with the pen and the
For
pad and
sure.
it's not you unbearing your whole soul. Like literally, they come to do the work that you come to do. Like whatever you tell them you want to talk about
That's what they
and
talk
you
about.
want to deal with, that's what they going to talk about. They're not going to ask you a whole bunch of questions to have you in pieces. But sometimes you going to be in pieces.
Mm,
And it's okay cuz you can put the puzzle back together.
yeah.
But you're creating a new puzzle.
And let me say this real quick, people listening to this, because we're giving out some actionable things that you can take to try to get better in dealing with a toxic parent. Some because I don't want you guys to think, well, because Jamila's situation is hers and mine is mine. My parents were married for 50 years. Some of you might be like, well,
But it's beautiful.
maybe your parents weren't married, and maybe that's our parents were married for 50 years. You can be. and your mom was there. You can have someone there physically and not be there emotionally. They're emotionally
Mhm.
unavailable to have adult conversations about healing and trauma and all of these things, right? So don't just assume that like my mom was there. Shout out to my mom. She was a great mom. She did the best she could do. That's the way she would say it.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful to have her. Absolutely, no doubt.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful to have my mom. At the same time, you can have someone present and they physically, and you still deal with trauma, right? You can still deal with trauma, and therapy is still required to help you deal with that, right? Don't just get over it. Don't let someone tell you to just get over it because you're not going to get over it. It's going to be reflective in how you raise your children, how
Mhm.
you handle business, how you handle other relationships because you haven't dealt with that trauma. You have to deal with this trauma for you and for you only, no
Mhm.
one else. It doesn't matter if mom gets something out of it or not. It just doesn't matter. It's all about you and your journey of healing.
Yep, and if you don't release if d don't push it down because energetically, I mean, we just all energy, it's a whole bunch of energy every day, right? It's why we give off
Come on now.
heat because it's energy. I'm a ball of energy. I got a whole aura sphere around me. It's a whole bunch of stuff, right? Energetically, it alters who you are. It alters who you are. It silences you in so many different ways that you didn't even know that you were silenced because you feel like you
Mm,
expressed it, but you really didn't express it. You just
come on now.
silenced it. Oh man, I had something that was good. What was it? What was
What
it?
you got over there?
It said, what did it say? Something about silence.
Must be an iPhone you got.
Yes.
Let's see if you
Silence keeps trauma alive. Awareness begins to break the cycle.
say that again, man. That was tough.
Silence keeps trauma alive. Awareness begins to break the cycle.
Oh, that's tough.
That's tough. You gotta acknowledge the truth. You just gotta acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to. I didn't want to acknowledge that I was motherless, and then I realized subconsciously that I had. That's why I created. I got all of these other women around me that I kind of like pick from, like because I'm a sponge and I'm really observant. So it's like shout out to Miss Fromkin from that's not her name anymore. She got married. I don't remember. But she was my Spanish teacher in high school. She taught me how to walk upstairs in heels because I would watch her every day and I'd be like, how's she walking up all of these stairs all every day in these heels? And I watched her. I used to sit in Lena kitchen and watch Lena cook. I learned how to cook. My mother didn't sit me down and teach me how to cook. I sit down and have conversations with Miss Marvin. Miss Marvin is my mama from Trinidad. I love her down, Miss Marvin. I love you. You know I love you. So I could go sit with her and talk to her for 5 hours. And everything that she says just pours into me. And then watching her as a woman. I got a lady back in Patterson name is Miss Carol. I love Miss Carol. She's a warm as crowd. I worked with her. I used to sit up next to this lady like this every day, like I was her daughter. So I created unconsciously different women that I observed and I took stuff from. So I created that village for myself too around me to even have other women pour into me from what I probably knew that I wasn't receiving or I aspired to be. Girl, yeah, yeah. And Claire Huxtable, Felicia Rashad, ooh, everybody in the 80s, that was she was our mama. She was our TV mom. So um with saying that, I want to say, even if your mom isn't that present, or if you decide to do the work and she doesn't, it's a whole village of women out here
Mm.
that can also step into that space for you and give you the guidance that you need. Yeah, that I think I went off track. I think
No,
I
you're
did.
fine. I
I think
mean,
I did.
here's the thing, man. This is I think it's Women's International Month. Isn't
It's
that
Women's History
Women History
Month.
Month? Okay. So
Yes.
no, you cooking, man.
And we
Anything
so amazing. We are
no,
so
so yeah,
amazing and so phenomenal.
absolutely. Yeah.
Women are phenomenal. And I think that we aren't operating all of us aren't operating in our highest being and our highest self because of the influence from social media and the world and XYZ. But y'all, we so great and
Yeah.
we so dope and we so powerful and we so magical. Oh my god. Like, I just love women and I love learning from other women, and don't take y'all, you could learn something from another woman. You do
Mm,
not have to be like to her. I learn every day from the women around me. Like, take it in, because sometimes you may not have that person, but what you seeking probably right in front of your face, and you just ain't acknowledging that that's what's in your face.
No, I love that. Jamila, tell people where they can find you.
So you can find me on all social media platforms at Jamilah Dukes. That is JamilahDukes. Come on and follow me. Come on and see what I be talking about. I have some good stuff to talk about.
Now, you always got great stuff to talk about. That's why I couldn't wait to get you back on and unpack this. Overcoming, toxic mothers and some of the stuff that we have to deal with and with these relationships. Thank you so much for sharing your phenomenal perspective.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to get behind the mic with you. If you want me back, just let me know. Just let
Yeah,
me
I
know.
sure will.
We have good conversations. It's conversations for the nation. How about that? How
Ooh,
about
it's
that?
conversations for the nation, girl.
Yeah,
I
that used to
have to
be
take
that.
that.
Look, don't take that. Don't take
Don't
that.
take
I
that.
mean, don't
Okay.
take that. You can't say that one. That was
Okay.
for my podcast.
Okay.
When
My
I get
bad.
back
My
to it, you
bad. My
can't have that
bad.
one.
My bad.
You
My
can't have that
bad.
one. That's what we used to do. Conversations for the nation. But yeah, I love having good conversations that are stimulating, that can stimulate some thought, stimulate some change, maybe impact you in a way to where you can
Mm,
have a different perspective of something and just move forward to be a better person. That's really all I want. I just want us to be better humans.
mm.
That's it. That's all I want. I just want us to be better humans and love on each other in a magnificent way, the way God loves us, and show that in our day to day actions and interactions with each other while we doing this journey called life.
I love it. Guys, listen, this is going to conclude the episode of Free Game Don D Life, Family, and Business.
We out.